Hokey Religion is an ancient weapon.
Welcome to Hokey Religion. This is Tyler.
This is Michael.
And let's talk about Star Wars. Cancel that. We're going to start that over. I keep doing this. I did this last episode. This is
What?
Hokey Religion, the Star Wars podcast. I always forget to say the after the colon part.
This is Star Wars.
Welcome to Star Hokey Wars Cast
colon
Pod.
A podcast.
Welcome to Star Wars, the Hokey Religion podcast. I'm man.
I'm podcast man.
I'm number one. He's number two. It's like the guy that's like afraid to podcast but wants to do it anyways.
Why are you doing this? You're so bad at it.
I have to do it. The doctor said that it would be good for me. So today we're gonna talk about
podcast.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
I think I'm ready now.
All right.
Hokey Religion is an ancient weapon.
Welcome to Hokey Religion, the Star Wars podcast. This is Tyler,
This is Michael.
and let's talk about Star Wars.
Hokey Religion is an ancient weapon. There's no magic for a good blaster. True set.
All right, so not much has happened since last time we spoke. There is still no trailer, not even a movie poster,
Nothing.
nothing at
There's
all.
been nothing.
No, they have released nothing else official other than, some more toys and stuff, but that doesn't count. It's not video footage.
End of segment.
No, but the trailer is rumored to be going around Disney and Lucasfilm currently. Still waiting final approval, supposedly. The quote source they had was saying that internally people sounded like we're talking about it coming out in November. Now, as of today, I actually heard some new information. Well, not really information. Another Star Wars source site has an email from someone within Disney, and is supposedly says
Someone
in
at
that email,
Disney or Lucasfilm?
Isn't it the same thing now?
Well,
I can't remember.
it's two separate things.
But the email was mentioning the trailer coming out mid-October. And this Star Wars news site is acting like they have a lot more information than they're giving, and has been really coy with tweets today talking about a trailer coming soon. So we're either going to get it in the next couple weeks or November. But nothing's official because no one knows.
That's a given, though, isn't it? I mean,
You would assume, but I mean, we've waited how long since the last time JJ said a trailer's coming in the fall? That was
Comic-Con, I guess.
May or June, I think.
Either Comic-Con or D23. I forget which one he said that.
So we're still waiting on that. Hopefully it'll be soon. I mean, like I've said before, just a poster would be nice.
Yeah.
At this point, because just to kind of see the official, hey, this is the movie poster, that classic look that everyone is waiting for, but all we have is that poster from the same artist from D23 and nothing new.
Yeah. There's also been rumors about ticket sales, ticket pre-order. I guess they're...
Well, kind of. There's a comic book shop in Waukesha, Wisconsin, who started giving away, quote...
Shout out to all our listeners in Waukesha, Wisconsin.
Waukesha, woo woo!
Oh, what was it? Waukesha?
No, Waukesha, Wisconsin.
Oh.
There's a comic shop, and there's a Majestic Theater.
Don't do that sound again. The woo-woo.
Woo woo. No. There's a Majestic Theater in Waukesha, not like, oh, it's amazing, but it is a theater that is the
It's
company
called Majestic.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
And I guess...
We're on the same page.
Yes. I guess the comic shop is working with the Majestic Theater because the comic shop is, quote unquote, selling the Force Awakens pre-sale tickets in a way. I'm assuming there's some legal loophole that they're using because they're actually selling a comic book.
Or it's just straight up illegal.
Well, I would think Disney would have come down on it by now if it was. But they're selling a comic book issue for $15, and you get a free pass to the Majestic Theater for Force Awakens on December 17th.
Is the comic related to Star Wars?
It's the Star Wars comic book, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's the Star Wars #1. If you buy the first issue for $15, you get a free The Force Awakens ticket for December 17th.
Gotcha.
I think it said 7, and it said 7 p.m. as well. So at least that
yeah.
theater is getting the movie, supposedly, unless Disney suddenly blacks them out for doing this.
Well, we've talked about that. The way releases are trending right now. It's not like midnight anymore. Now it's like 7 p.m. You know, the day before.
Trying to get as much money for the weekend box office as you can.
Right. So yeah, I'm sure that'll happen. So it'll be.
I'm sure there would be a
7
problem.
7 p.m. on the 16th, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm sure there would be a legal problem if they were actually selling just tickets, but they're like giving away passes.
Why? Why would that be?
Because no one's allowed to sell Force Awakens tickets yet.
Oh, well.
I mean, no one has them, and usually there's like an embargo on selling tickets until.
Maybe this is just like a reserve your spot in line to order a real ticket.
So I think they're getting around it by selling the comic book, but giving a pass to the theater
that's weird.
So that you're not actually buying a ticket.
Right.
But there's pictures of the tickets online. People have shown the ticket they got. So I guess good for them. But tickets still aren't even up for sale on Fandango or anything like that.
It'd be great if these weren't real at all.
No.
They get invalidated.
The theater's
or something.
actually planning on closing in like November.
Man, what a way to go out. Best fraud.
So no trailer, no poster, no movie tickets, but we know it's coming out December 17th, and now we're assuming it's just like every other film going to come out at earlier in the evening than midnight, 7 p.m. So really no update on the actual film, but some
we talked
interesting...
for 10 minutes about nothing. No update.
No update, pretty much. We would love one, and I think we'll get one in the next week or so, hopefully. Oh, what I did fail to mention is the website, or who was it? It was a movie theater in, I believe, L.A., contacted their Disney representative, who they get their films and stuff from.
Mm-hmm.
We're asking about getting the film and like trailers, things like that. And their Disney representative didn't say when the trailer was coming, but they did say that the Star Wars website, starwars.com, would post something 24 to 48 hours in advance of the trailer coming out. So it's not just going to appear online. There will be some sort of announcement prior to it coming online.
Sure.
Whether 24 to 48 hours beforehand.
To hype it up.
Yeah. So we're going to get some kind of announcement soon, and then we'll have to wait even a couple more days longer to actually see the trailer.
Yeah.
So hopefully soon. But in the meantime, with no actual movie news, we do have quite a bit of theories and spoilerish things to talk about characters.
That are all based on, things that we see online, basically.
Yeah, we base everything, there's quote-unquote spoilers and sources that everything has to be taken with a grain of salt because everyone wants to be responsible for some big Star Wars news and they could just be making it up off the top of their head.
Sure.
But we like some of these that we see we like, and we want to kind of explore that idea further.
We were talking about some of these earlier in the week, and some of this stuff we've talked about already on the show.
I mean, a lot of it's obviously the logical direction to think with a lot of things.
Right.
But
I'm just trying to say that we said it first.
We did say it first. In this room, we were the first ones to say that here. But so let's get into that. The first character we're going to talk about is Finn. Some of you may notice from the action figures and toys that have come out, Finn and Poe are wearing the exact same jacket. And I believe we talked about this last episode.
Yep.
If you also look at the toys, they have the exact same blaster.
Mm-hmm.
Poe's has a stock on it. Finn's does not.
Right.
It is unmistakably the same jacket and same blaster when you're looking at the toys.
Right.
So that seems to hold up pretty well, the theory of Finn escaping with Poe.
Yeah.
And taking his clothes, or if he thinks he's dead, or whether he knocks him out and takes his clothes, we don't know. But using that as a disguise, it seems very, almost 100% plausible that that's what happens.
Right. I mean, we've already said, they escape in a 2-seater TIE fighter. We talked about that recently. With the figures now, they've got the same clothes, they've got the same blaster. We've talked about, Finn's kind of motivation to, escape from this
whatever his
oppressive
motivation is.
regime. Yeah. Kind of do the right thing, I guess. That's kind of been discussed that, he's looking to do that.
Yeah.
We already know, Poe probably has the lightsaber or knows where it is at least.
Yeah. I think
going into it.
I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I think BB-8 has it. Poe gets captured, BB-8 has the lightsaber, and BB-8 ends up running around with them, and they don't even know BB-8 has the lightsaber. Kind of like R2 when he has a lightsaber in his head.
Can he fit a lightsaber inside of him?
BB-8's a lot bigger than you. I mean, think about like the actual full-size one on stage at Comic-Con.
I can't remember how big it was.
Like up to your knees.
Was it that big?
It's pretty big.
All right. It's significantly smaller than R2. I know that.
Yeah, height-wise, but I mean it's a ball, so it looks about as wide as R2.
The lightsaber's just rattling around inside.
Maybe
he's completely empty on the inside, right? It's just it's like a popcorn tin.
While he's running around with Finn and Rey, it's just like this is the crappiest droid ever. Why
like
are
a dryer.
We letting this thing come with us? Yeah, like a dryer with a brick in it. No, I don't know. I think we've talked about it before, but I think the movie's going to start out with the finding of the lightsaber in some form. Hopefully with Poe, and that's obviously why Poe is captured, because he has information about the lightsaber.
Or at least we'll find out about this lightsaber theme pretty early on, and then maybe, who knows, cut to the actual story of finding it later. Yeah. I don't know.
But in talking about lightsabers, this is going to come into a spoilery thing that came out from a website called Cinelinx. They had some trusted sources, take it with a grain of salt, but some information about Finn. So the name Finn is his only name, is what they're saying. All he knows is the name Finn because his stormtrooper identification, his ID, is FN-2187. So FN Finn. Mm-hmm. There's actually that FN-2187 is referenced by a toy. It's a talking Phasma helmet. And one of the lines it says is "Fire FN-2187," like she's telling him to shoot.
Interesting.
I believe that call sign of FN-2187 was a while back. Someone saw it like either in the barcode information or something about one of the Finn toys.
Okay.
So according to the sources, his name, all he knows is the name Finn from his call sign FN-2187 because, much like the Empire, the First Order trains from a very young age. So that's really all he knows. So maybe, he probably doesn't even know where he came from or what his family situation was. So maybe he is related to someone we know. I doubt it, but it could happen.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know, he could have been a cadet. So he would, what happens a lot with troopers, at least in the old EU, their families were killed by the Empire, or their world was taken over or something, and they were just kind of conscripted into service.
Whatever the case, he ended up with the First Order and was trained from such a young age that he doesn't even remember.
I guess that's another thing to wonder about, is the First Order is kind of the separate organization, so I wonder how they recruit troops. I wonder if it is very, we were talking about it being kind of a cult kind of thing. I wonder if it's, are these people that are signing up because they believe in the same ideals, or are they, conscripting people like the Empire did? Yeah. I wonder.
I'm sure a lot of it is just overflow from the Empire, people that had nowhere else to go and needed to.
Maybe. But Finn's fairly young, so
this is pretty young. So.
I'm sure he was either a kid or very young younger, during the Battle of Endor. So I just wonder how they pick up people like that. Yeah. I don't know.
Not sure. But where I got to this on talking about lightsabers is still, according to this website, Cinelinx, that First Order troops are actually trained with lightsabers and shields.
Where did you read that?
From the same website that was talking about his name. They said that First Order troopers train with lightsabers and shields, which if you think back to all the original McQuarrie art, Do you remember the
stormtroopers had like
stormtroopers
energy
had like
swords.
a light blade and a shield,
Right.
like a riot shield and a lightsaber.
And from what we've seen from all the ships and some of the weapons and stuff, they're really
Very
heavily based on his art. Yeah.
on his original artwork. So that's not far off from the original idea of the concept art for the original Star Wars, the stormtroopers having lightsabers. Now, like the website said, and what I would think as well, I doubt they all have lightsabers because you have to have the crystals for that, and that's super rare to even get those to have lightsabers.
Well, we haven't seen that in any of the trooper toys or anything like that.
But knowing that Kylo kind of is on a mission to find and end the Last Jedi, if he wants them to be able to fight against someone with a lightsaber, it would make sense to train them with lightsabers to know how to fight against lightsabers. So I don't know, that's a pretty cool idea. So thinking about that, seeing Finn having the lightsaber in the little Instagram teaser, he knows how to use a lightsaber. He may not actually have any. He may not be the Force sensitive one. We're all kind of, obviously J.J. Abrams is master of misdirection. Before movies come out, with lots of movies he's done that. Very, very wanting, like trying to push you one direction and then it ends up being something else. He's kind of making us focus on Finn being like the hero, the new hero. Maybe he's not even the one that's Force sensitive. He just knows how to use a lightsaber. They've shown him with a lightsaber. He may not have any Force powers at all.
I mean, we've seen nothing from either Finn or Rey.
No.
Either one about any kind of indication about, Force being Force sensitive or...
I mean, obviously the title, The Force Awakens, there's supposed to be an awakening, and from the beginning I was thinking, okay, Finn kind of has an awakening and maybe has a vision, and that's why he's trying to escape and help Poe.
Yeah.
But it could be just something totally separate. He may not even be the Force sensitive one, and he just knows how to use a lightsaber, so they're showing us him holding a lightsaber at some point.
Sure. Well, we've kind of talked about, related to that, we've kind of talked about how this awakening in the Force seems like a big event, like kind of a ripple in the Force. Because you hear Snoke in the teaser talking about that, in the first teaser. So I don't think the title of the movie is based on...
any one person.
Right. I think it's something with the Force is happening.
Most likely. And
even JJ has talked about how that's going to be a big focus of the movie, that there's this big event in the Force and something's going on, something major. Yeah,
and continuing on with Finn, something I was reading today, I cannot remember where I saw it, but was almost talking about the fact that Phasma gets very kind of close and personal with the troopers that she's training, kind of takes them under her wing.
That makes sense, yeah.
But they were talking about the fact that, I think this was a spoiler, there was some information they got from somewhere, or they just came up with it on their own, like always, but, grain of salt. But the fact that they were talking about that Finn was kind of her protege, like, who she was, like, trying to training up to be more in charge.
Interesting.
Which would make a little more sense why she and Kylo is so involved with, like, hunting him down if he left. Because he probably knows a lot more than most others would. He's probably a lot more trained than others would be. Maybe.
I don't know. It seems like I don't know about that one. I feel like the story would make a little more sense if he was just, like another cog in the machine.
Yeah.
I don't know. We haven't really seen any indication that he's special to the First Order.
We see that stormtrooper in the behind the scenes shot. We see that stormtrooper marching Poe down the hallway, which it's fairly obvious that that's Finn marching Poe down the hallway. So he's at least involved enough with this prisoner that is of so high importance.
Right. I think that could be just chance,
It could be, he could just be the trooper that was watching him at the time.
I mean, I think I like that shot in the first teaser, that it was a really quick real quick cut where you see all the troopers lined up on this troop transport about to exit to wherever.
Oh, yeah.
I guess it was Jakku, or I don't know where it was. No, it was in the rain, wasn't it? Was it raining outside?
I think so, yeah.
Anyway, there was that real quick shot, and it was just, a line of troopers that look exactly the same, and then there's one that's slightly shorter, which is, I assume, is Finn.
Yeah.
So I don't know, that kind of shot means to me that he's just another
It's just
trooper.
somebody, just another one.
I don't know. I mean,
It's
I could be
possible.
reading too much into it, but
Yeah, I mean, it's possible.
I
But,
I like
again,
that. I like
just a
the
grain of
idea.
salt with him being Phasma's protege. That one doesn't really have any significance to me yet. But
Right.
the idea of them training with lightsabers and him not knowing his name and stuff like that seems very plausible.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I just like the idea of him being just some trooper that got mixed up in this big thing that, that's much bigger than him,
Yeah.
and kind of realized, oh wait, I'm on the wrong side of this. That
Yeah.
just seems like a very Star Wars kind of storytelling,
Yeah, like that. Like they do something. Of course, we know there's the flame troopers, and there's I think the spoiler or information I saw probably a long time ago was something about them like burning down villages, like a village. The flame troopers like burning stuff down, and Finn being there.
Yeah,
and,
we
like,
see
having
that in
having
a
that
couple
idea
shots.
That like, what am I doing
Right.
here? Why am I helping with this?
That would make sense
Like just
to me, yeah.
a snap realization of, oh crap.
Right. I mean, almost like how Luke was, he just some farm kid that was
Well,
more important.
He was more important than he ever knew.
Right, but
yeah.
to hit in his in his mind, it was just he was getting caught up in this huge thing that was much bigger than him, and had no idea that there were, he was connected to so many things, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like that kind of story would be a cool idea here too.
Yeah, it would be good. Speaking of lightsabers and force-sensitive people, I will go ahead and move on to Rey. Quote, Rey, end quote. And I'll bring that up in a minute. But, so say Finn isn't the force-sensitive one. It's very popular to have your female hero these days. That's a very movie thing right now, is to have the female hero. You've got your Hunger Games, you've got Insurgent movies. What if she's the force sensitive one? She's been trained by Luke in one way or another.
Yeah, I mean,
And like we've said, that staff of hers, the top of that looks pretty damn close to a lightsaber.
yeah, I'm still not quite sure about that one. I think that might be just the prop. I don't know.
It could be. I mean, it could be just be some, parts, because she's a, quote, supposedly she's a scavenger.
Yeah.
Could just be a part she found of something and made
Right.
her staff with. But speaking of, her name being Rey, now, way back when, the original spoilers from, unknown sources was that her name was going to be Kira.
Okay.
And then once official things started coming out, her name was Rey.
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently there's still a pretty strong pull with people that her name is actually Kira.
What
and
is that
she's
based
going
on?
By Rey. The original spoilers way back.
But I mean, why are people so?
People are still very strongly for her still being Kira. Now, Rey being part of her name still, Kira Rey. It is assumed her name is Kira Rey Solo.
Interesting.
Still, a lot of people really like that idea.
Yeah.
Still, they're still holding on to her actually being Kira and Rey being, either her undercover name or just what she's going by for whatever reason she was placed on Jakku.
Right.
And they feel that too, that she was almost placed on Jakku for whatever reason. Maybe helping to hunt down the lightsaber. Now, with talking about her being force sensitive, possibly, maybe
Yeah.
Finn is just the soldier that knows how to use a lightsaber, and that's the misdirection, where actually she is the new Jedi, the new hero with the lightsaber. Which kind of, if you think about it, so my ongoing theory, and I think you would agree, that I really want Kylo to be more involved than just being the bad guy that he is.
Right.
Han and Leia's son.
Right.
So say it is Kylo Ren Solo, Kira Rey Solo.
Yep. Kylo and Kira.
That is very reminiscent of Jason and Jaina from the EU.
Right.
Which again, it looks like they're pulling from a lot of older stuff from the Macquarie art. If they're pulling in from maybe the EU, Jason ends up going to the dark side. Jaina becomes a Jedi.
Right.
Rey becomes a Jedi. Kylo Ren becomes a Sith.
Just in a slightly different way, I guess.
Yeah. So say
it's possible.
Luke trains both of them, much like Jason and Jaina.
Yeah.
Luke trains them as well as he can, but he doesn't have as much information as he ever wanted.
Yeah.
One goes dark, one stays good, and that's and she ends up being the hero that we never expected her to be, whereas Finn maybe ends up being more like the Han Solo, like the very strong secondary character.
Sure.
Like the Han to the Luke.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah, that's a
very,
cool idea.
It would be very misdirecting of JJ, which I would expect of him.
Yeah.
With all the stuff they're showing with Finn with the lightsaber, and he may know how to use it, but maybe Kira, / Rey is actually the one that knows how to use the lightsaber.
Yeah, that would be, or ends up learning, and we're picking up with her, kind of realizing that she is connected to the Force.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Because we've talked about her possibly being a Solo, and we've talked about Kylo possibly being a Solo.
Yeah.
It would make sense. I think it makes sense because we know her and Finn get very involved with Han and Chewie.
Yeah.
And we've talked about her.
We've also talked about why are Han and Chewie on Jakku?
Because the daughter's there.
Maybe.
Picking up their daughter from the mall. She was shopping for some junk.
It still doesn't explain what's so frustrating to me right now is it still doesn't explain why Han and Chewie have been separated from the Falcon. We've talked about this. What
do you mean?
That at some point in the movie, Han and Chewie get reunited, or at least Han.
That Chewie were home type thing.
Yeah, they get reunited with the Falcon. And I from things that I've seen and like the teaser and like behind the scenes footage, I think Han and Chewie aren't flying the Falcon. Well, see, I don't know.
It's flying through through
Jakku.
Star Destroyers and stuff that are crashed. No, I think Rey is flying that.
But then I go from that back to, well, no one else can pilot the Falcon as well as Han. So
if you're Han's daughter,
and it looked like, well, yeah. See, I don't know.
If you're Han's daughter, you can sure as hell fly it.
Yeah.
So say Han and Chewie are parted from the Falcon.
Yeah.
Because Rey has it on Jakku. Maybe it's she's hidden it on Jakku somewhere because she's there for whatever reason.
Yeah.
In hiding, trying to seem like a nobody.
Maybe
looking for the lightsaber, looking for something.
Why is Han's daughter a scavenger though? I don't know.
Again, misdirection. That's just her guise while she's on Jakku. That's just what she's. Han is super tinkery with stuff, so she's got to be super tinkery with stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a stretch, but it's an idea that I would really like to see happen.
I think it'd be really cool. Yeah, because she took the Falcon because Han probably say like any dad, like you want your daughter to have a safe car. He trusts the Falcon more than anything, more than himself. He trusts the Falcon more. So she takes that with her. That's the ship, that she takes, and she hides on Jakku for whatever reason she's been placed there, or whatever she's doing there. And then Han and Chewie come back once she has Finn, and they have more information, or they have the saber, and Han and Chewie need to come and get
I don't
them.
know. But the inflection, Han's inflection on that line is like he didn't think he was going to get the Falcon back, but now he's back.
Or he may never have thought he was going to get that involved again.
I don't know.
He wasn't going to have a reason to be back on the Falcon in that capacity.
Something I was going to say to kind of, I don't know, confirm this or whatever, but we know that, Luke is kind of
off.
Yeah, off
He's
somewhere.
Yeah.
I assume it's some kind of hermit situation.
Yeah. That island they keep filming at, that people keep getting hurt.
Yes.
In Scotland. Is it Skellig?
Or
Skellig Michael, I think.
I forget
it's called.
if it was Ireland. I think it might be Ireland.
Somewhere like that. It's like Skellig Michael is like a tourist island, but people keep falling. I'm almost certain that's where he's at.
Yes.
The filming location is his hermit island.
Right. Well, I was going to say that first of all, we know what he looks like. He looks very reminiscent of Ben.
Well, at some point, he's going to look regal. He may not be while he's hiding away. Maybe a little more scraggly, but that. I think it's going to start out him being all scraggly and old and hermit-like. Yeah.
And then I saw a picture of him filming out there for episode 8.
Supposedly for 8, yeah.
That it looks completely like Luke did in Jedi.
He was shaved.
Same haircut. Clean shaven.
Mm-hmm.
Looks exactly like he did in Jedi, just aged 20 years, 30 years, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think something happened with, maybe Kylo, like we were talking about, and he decides to go away.
Like, I shouldn't be doing this because I'm not good
Right.
enough and I'm hurting more than I'm helping.
Right. But then for 8, he comes back and starts training Rey, maybe?
Yeah, and that's talking about Rey and
Or
we were
Finn.
talking about her possibly being a Jedi. There is a picture out there of a new card game that's coming out. It's a leaked picture of some cards from a card game. There was a Finn picture, a Kylo Ren picture, and a Rey picture. And the card game has symbols like to denote their
Like class.
like their class or allegiance.
Yeah.
Finn has a and there's actually one of the cards that's in the picture is the legend for what the symbols mean.
Yeah.
So Finn has a symbol that is the rebel symbol, and the card with the legend says rebels.
Right.
Kylo has a symbol that the legend says is Sith.
Yep.
Rey has 2 symbols. One that says rebel, and one that the legend says Jedi.
Yep. Yeah.
Finn's just says rebels. Rey says both rebels and Jedi.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, it could just be some card game thing, obviously. It could just be whatever.
Another thing.
But I think if she's going to be this involved in the movie, I think at some point she's going to be trained. So at some point she may be training to be a Jedi, if not already trained.
Right. I mean, maybe Luke, comes back and cleans himself up in the middle of this movie. I don't know.
Who knows?
I
But
know.
the
I
fact
know
that
by
she's
8.
going to be a Jedi or probably involved in Jedi
Yeah.
things. I mean, that's
Yeah.
a pretty cool indication of that, getting that leaked photo.
Another thing I was going to mention was I lost my train of thought.
Something about Luke on the island.
Something
with him
related
cleaning up.
to.
No training. Nothing.
Yeah, I don't think
About it.
I'll think about it.
But one of the other things I remember seeing way back is, again, with Luke being on that island that they've been filming at,
Yeah.
where apparently he almost died while he was filming. He slid down and someone caught him. Otherwise, he would have fallen off an edge into water on some rocks. So
How terrible would that?
good for that guy to save all of Star Wars. But supposedly, okay, so we've talked about we think Han's gonna die. I think Rey and Chewie stay with the Falcon. There's supposedly the rumor is at the end of Episode 7 that Rey and Chewbacca fly the Falcon to this island to find Luke. And
To find him?
to get him, find him, something like that.
Huh. Okay.
So it's believed to be that at the end of 7, because like I've said before, I don't think Luke's going to be in the movie at all until the very end. I don't know if he's going to be involved yet. But it's believed to be that at the very end, Rey and maybe Chewie's with her and whatever, but they go to this island to get Luke, or to find Luke, or to bring him back, or something. I mean, it could just be some other throwaway thing where maybe they're just going back for something, or he needs to get there for some reason, or they're going back to hide. But yes, it's believed to be that at the end she's going to get Luke, or going to find Luke, or going to kind of bring him back into it.
Right. Okay.
And talking about filming on that island, we do know that Mark Hamill was there filming, but we also know at the same time that Mark Hamill was filming, Kenny Baker just happened to be in town as well. So in some capacity, I think R2's with him.
Yeah.
I mean, R2 is obviously that he's always important.
Right.
One of the most important droids ever in Star Wars, but I would think that R2 would go with Luke if Luke went somewhere, just like Luke in all the movies. When Luke went somewhere, R2 was with him.
Yep.
So R2 and Luke are probably hanging out there.
Well, like we've talked about, that shot in the teaser of the robot hand being placed on R2, I think that's Luke. I'm pretty sure that's Luke with R2.
Just it doesn't have the skin hand anymore. He just has a new cyborg hand.
Hey, if 3PO can have a red arm,
I still don't understand that.
Luke can lose his skin.
That is weird. I don't understand that at all still with the red arm. Yeah, so I mean, I think I really like that idea of Kylo being the Jason, Rey being the Jaina. Yeah. Luke having trained both of them, screwed up enough that Kylo ended up going to this Knights of Ren and becoming a Sith.
Maybe. But I like that idea. I'm still not totally convinced that Luke has already trained them. I think Luke might be a hermit for other reasons.
Well, think about it. It's been 30 years. 30 years period between Jedi and 7 and Force Awakens. Rey's probably in her 20s, low 20s.
Yeah.
Kylo looks to be in his upper 20s, low 30s,
Yeah.
maybe.
Mhm.
That's enough time to train a Padawan, like to start training at that very young age.
Sure. I'm just saying, I think Luke maybe went into hiding before they were
Like,
eligible.
right
for that.
after.
I don't know.
Jedi?
I mean, like you said, it's been 30 years, so I think something
Something
happened.
has to happen for him to go. Which,
Right.
I mean, that
Or he could be just trying to, reconnect with the Force or something. Maybe something's going on in that 30 years where he just kind of loses connection with the Force, or I don't know. I'm just guessing here, but
yeah.
it could not be something bad. Like a.
It could be.
I don't know. I can't really. I can't imagine us being just kind of thrown into a world where Luke has already trained two individuals in the Force, and we're just
I
supposed
don't
to
think
buy
you're gonna
that.
find that out
I think
anytime soon. I think you're gonna find that out much later into the movie.
I think it would be, I don't know, maybe a more compelling story to have Luke train Rey, just like we saw in Empire with Yoda and Luke.
Yeah.
Kind of having that kind of a deal in 8.
She has to do push-ups with him on her back.
Yes.
and
Mhm.
Run through the trees with him in a backpack.
Yes.
'Cause that would be really funny.
With her head flopping around while he's like swinging around.
That would be really funny.
Or no, it would be Luke's head flopping
Yeah, he would be in
around
the
while Rey
backpack,
was
like-
swinging.
He would be in the backpack when then like he fell
Yeah.
over. He would be like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
like Yoda does.
Yeah.
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 I don't know. I like thinking of Rey being the either already trained or I think in some capacity she's probably been trained by Luke if she's related to anyone and was involved with him from her birth.
Maybe. I don't know.
I like the idea of at some point there being something going on with the lightsaber. Finn knows how to use the lightsaber. Right?
That's what I was going to say.
What's
So the I'd say another reason, this theory holds up is because Leia is the one looking for the lightsaber.
Yes.
So maybe Leia's aware of Rey's Force sensitivity. Maybe they are related, and she wants
Yeah.
this lightsaber for that reason.
It could be.
Maybe Luke wants it to give it to Rey for this reason.
Like I was saying, I really want there to be a point in the film where Finn knows how to use the lightsaber. He's
sure.
fairly confident with the lightsaber. He
Yeah.
may not have the Force, but he knows how to use it.
Yeah.
I want there to be at some point we don't know Rey knows how to use the lightsaber. Doesn't know she's been trained. And
Mhm.
for her to like either take it from him or force pull it from him and do something totally badass with it. Just that, that scene like, you idiot, and then like doing something totally awesome.
What?
Yeah, exactly. And then like you don't know anything until that point when she like suddenly whips out a lightsaber or her turns her staff on or whatever. There's just like sudden lightsaber badass skills coming from
That would be cool.
Kira/Rey. And we know her stunt double is like a super badass with a staff.
Yeah.
So she knows how to fight. She knows how to fight fast.
Yeah.
So if
And
she
maybe
can-
we'll see some of that on Jakku in the beginning.
with the staff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably.
Some staff work.
Mm. Anyways, let's see. So yeah, I think that's my current favorite theory. Obviously, I've really wanted this whole time for Kylo to be Han and Leia's son, or Han's son, or Leia's son, or somebody's son. I want him to be involved and have this horrible thing that's happened to have been him leaving. That's what makes Luke go into hiding.
Yeah.
But I really like the idea of them being the Jason and Jaina, one going dark, one going, one staying good,
Yeah.
and having been trained.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that direction. I like keeping around some of those things from the EU. Obviously, it's not going to be the exact same.
Right.
Obviously, we're still assuming that Han and Leia ended up together. I think if they didn't, there would be like riots in the street. Obviously, because that hasn't been. We haven't seen like a Leia solo toy,
Right.
There's no confirmation that they're together, but I think at this point, if you didn't do that...
Well, I mean, none of the original cast. We don't have toys from any of the original cast.
No, nothing yet.
Not even like C-3PO and R2-D2.
I mean, we've seen Han and Chewie. Oh, we do have a Chewbacca. We do have the Black Series 6-inch new Chewbacca toy. We have new Chewbacca toys, which he looks the exact same because he's already
right.
like however many 100 years old. Like, we've seen Han. We know what he looks like. I don't know why they didn't put out an old Han toy yet.
I think there's going to be something with Han that I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, we're assuming Leia and Han are together.
I mean, we
in all
haven't
of
even
these
seen
series.
Han in any footage other than that.
Other than his face,
Other than that last line.
Waist up shot of him saying, Chewie, we're home.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, going with all this, I think Han and Leia are together. I want there to be the Jason, Jaina, Kylo, and Kira. Kylo, Kira, Kylo Ren, Kira Ray.
Yeah.
All the initials are the same. It would hold up really well. I like that idea. And then Finn getting thrown into this. Maybe he has force sensitivity and he gets trained too. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's the new Han Solo type. Just being the really confident guy. That
you wouldn't say that Poe would be that kind of type.
I don't.
Because Wedge
honestly,
was
we
never
haven't seen much with Poe other than
Wedge was never a big
around.
character in the original, in the movies.
Not in the movies. He was
in the books. He was
big in
a
the
huge
books.
character,
and he's even in Aftermath. He's one of the
right.
characters.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Aftermath.
But and I don't know. Poe seems like that kind of character to me. At least how Wedge was in the books. Maybe it's just because he's a pilot. Maybe that's the only reason I'm thinking that. But
and I mean, at this point, he's the only one we know for certain is in 8 from those 3 new characters.
Poe is in 8.
It's confirmed that Poe's in 8.
Is it really? Okay.
That the
I didn't
actor
know
is
that.
in 8. Supposedly, I mean, from what I've seen, he's the only confirmed character to be in 8.
Well,
They
and
haven't said
Luke.
anything.
I mean,
Well,
Luke's obviously.
we
in it
assume
now.
we assume he was filming for 8. Maybe they were doing pickups for 7. I think it's a little.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
it wasn't too late to be doing pickups for 7 because that was in September, end of August, early September, I think, when they were doing
I think
those.
that might be a little late. I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean,
Sometimes
why
they
he
go
would
right up to the last minute, but
yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it could. I would think it would be 8, obviously, but I mean, yeah.
I think it's a little late. I think now
Probably.
is like the whole, well, like you said, they're cutting a trailer now. I think they're
he
coming
already
up
said
with
they
all
were
the.
working on the finished cut of the film. He was talking about the fact that they were close at one point. He said they were close to having the finished edit,
Yeah.
but maybe they had to do a pickup or reshoot something. Who knows when they went through
I
editing.
don't know.
But I think it would be for 8, and supposedly Poe's in it. But we don't know anything about the characters of Finn and Rey and their actors. We don't know their involvement beyond
Right.
The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, obviously I think Poe is important, and he's going to be a main character, and people love the character already, even though knowing zero about him.
Right.
We know less about him than we do Finn and Rey at this point.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we really don't know all that much about Rey. We know more about Finn than anybody else. Which, again, could be a ton of misdirection for that, but people love Poe, so I would assume he would stay around. He could be that new, kind of, because he's older than the other two.
Yeah.
A little bit. He could be that kind of the older Han as far as being more like the general type, the kind of scoundrelly, kind of
cocky.
Kind of cocky, but also more
Experience.
more experienced, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, Finn's going to be experienced if he's a first order trooper. So
I don't know. I think Finn.
All right, I do want Finn to train to be a Jedi. I want him to be force sensitive in some way.
I think Finn's experience, quote unquote, is really just the First Order.
Yeah.
He's like I said, he's just another cog in the machine. That's
Could be.
all he knows is the First Order.
Yeah.
And this is his first kind of breaking out of that world.
Yeah, it could be.
So I don't. Yeah. So I was saying, I think Poe is going to end up being the Han Solo type
Yeah.
character who's kind of been around and seen a lot.
And then just having
These two
maybe
kids with him.
Rey's been trained some maybe as a Jedi, but then fully training Finn if he is any sort of sensitive.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but going back, we were just talking about filming for 8, and we assume that was filming for 8 when Mark Hamill was shooting. But there's a rumor that Hayden Christensen was filming something for 8. Right? The rumor. There's no official confirmation of that. There's no, other than just I think it was a one-off for a couple people saying this, but that he was coming back to film something for 8. Maybe a flashback. It better not be Force Ghost related, because that would be horrific. I agree completely with those noises. Yeah, I mean,
No.
I don't.
It would be.
I do not think he is the greatest actor.
Force Ghost makes the most sense at this point.
It does, but I don't like that.
I mean, we've got freaking Anakin's lightsaber in the movie.
Yeah, I
Right?
mean, yes, but everyone hated the fact that they changed the Force Ghost to be Hayden Christensen in Jedi.
Yeah.
I don't think JJ would do that.
I don't know.
He wouldn't. He would not want to. Well, it's not JJ. I guess at this point, it's Ryan Johnson, is the director of.
If
8.
this is 8, this is confirmed for.
If that's happening, I don't think anyone wants to remind us of that, of the Force Ghost Hayden, because that's horrific. If you're gonna show us a Force Ghost, it's gonna be Obi-Wan or Yoda.
Okay, I'll say this: I like the idea of having Anakin Skywalker, the character, in 8 somehow, whether it's a Force Ghost or flashback, whatever.
I think flashback.
Flashback? Why?
I think it's some kind of flashback to something to
what?
do with him. I mean, maybe they used him as Darth Vader for some reason, even though they don't need him in the suit. Maybe they put him in the suit. I don't know.
Even that is a cool idea. Having a flashback of Vader.
Yeah. I don't know what we would need a flashback of.
But this
before
actor?
he became Vader, I don't know what there would be a flashback of prior to Vader that would be important, because we already have more than enough information of his.
Way more.
Yeah,
We've
like
got
all
so
the whole
much-
Clone Wars series.
Yeah.
Is all of Anakin.
We have
We have
more
tons of
official
information
information about Anakin than we do about Luke
Yeah,
Skywalker.
yeah, because that show became canon. So yeah, we have tons of information about him. So I don't know what flashback would be important enough to be in 8 that would affect anything. But I also don't see a reason why we would need him to be a Force Ghost. I would
There's a freaking conversation with Hayden Christensen
as a Force Ghost.
in a new Star Wars movie.
I mean, again,
I will be slightly angry.
It was just, I think it was just a couple people talking about it being a rumor. I don't know how much that would actually hold water. So I don't.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's a cool idea to have Anakin Skywalker, the character, in one of these new movies, because it kind of ties
But
it all
even
together.
then, I don't think you need Anakin at any point, because we have so much information about Anakin. What?
Well, I'm saying a Force Ghost because he is Anakin
Maybe.
like in the Force right now. He's not Vader anymore.
Yeah, but
So having that character, it kind of ties everything together. That's a cool idea, but no.
as much as I hate it, the fact that Hayden Christensen is the Force Ghost for Anakin is canon.
Yeah.
Official canon is Hayden Christensen. The Force Ghost of Anakin looks like Hayden Christensen.
I remember, related to that, I remember seeing some behind the scenes thing with Dave Filoni, where he talked to Lucas about why at the end of Jedi is it Hayden Christensen and not what's his name? The guy at the end of Jedi who played Vader. Why is it not Vader when he died? Why is it Anakin? Before Vader.
I remember this.
And I think Lucas's reasoning was like, when you become one with the Force, it's like you're the best version of yourself. Something like that.
Since he turned back to the light right before he died, like it was like the best version of himself was now the Force Ghost.
Right before he died, he was screaming, "I hate you," to Obi-Wan.
No, that's not when he died. He became Darth Vader.
Well,
and then he died with Luke, but he was all
died.
like he killed Darth Sidious and all that.
He died when he became Vader. He's no longer Skywalker.
Yeah. Anyways, well, I mean, okay, this is the same Lucas that when asked why Anakin suddenly had a scar on his face in Clone Wars?
Yeah.
There was no reason. It looked cool. That's all.
Oh, I believe it.
The designer was just like, well, yeah, it looks cool. There's no story behind the scar. There's nothing behind the fact that he has a scar on his eye.
In Revenge of the Sith?
Doesn't he have it in Clone Wars too? Yeah, in the cartoon he has a scar on his eye.
I guess.
Yeah, so in the second, in the prequel trilogy, in the Clone Wars movie, he has a scar all of a sudden. From episode 1 to episode 2, there's suddenly, obviously episode 1 he was a child. But so now episode 2, he's older. He has a scar on his face. Why does he have a scar on his face?
No.
Nothing important. It looks cool.
Not episode 2 of the movie. He didn't have a scar on his face then.
Was it just episode 3?
I think so. Yeah, because
But he had it in the Clone Wars series, didn't he?
Well, that was after episode 2. The Clone Wars started in episode 2.
Did they show him get it in the Clone Wars? It's been so long since I watched all of it.
No, I just watched it recently, like a couple weeks ago, and no.
Yeah,
No.
but the only reason he ever had that scar.
The only
someone
reason I
asked, and it
remember-
was just because. That's why.
Well, yeah, I believe that.
Yeah,
I
so
believe that.
That's the same Lucas that came up with that off the top of his head. So I don't.
The only reason I remember him not having a scar in episode 2 was because I remember looking at his face and thinking, Man, he looks like an olive. His skin is just so weirdly sickly tanned. Like not really tan, but like yellow tan.
This
Like
was
can
in
you
episode
become
2?
Yeah. Can you become like yellow tanned?
That forced sickness.
Or just a sickness from being Hayden Christensen.
Or that.
It's just you're Hayden Christensen, so you're ill.
He was also sickened by some of his lines in that movie.
Ill like bad ill, not like ill like
Good ill.
Beastie Boys ill.
Not like
Not like
what's the new character's name? The alien
Elo Asti is his
Elo
name.
Asti, which Beastie Boys.
Did you read about that too?
Everyone has to have seen this by now. So there's a new character who looks to be an X-wing pilot.
Yeah.
Called Elo Asti.
Yeah.
There's a Beastie Boy album that's called Hello Nasty.
Yeah.
And Arabesh on the side of Elo Asti's helmet is born in Arabesh. It says "Born to Ill,"
Yeah.
which is a Beastie Boys song on the album Hello Nasty.
Yeah.
So this is just like a
Pretty
homage to Beastie Boys from JJ, I guess, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do, no importance to anything else, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Talking about Arabesh on helmets, Pose has something on it, but it like doesn't mean anything, apparently.
No one's translated it?
Like it's not like the official Arabesh. It doesn't translate to anything. Like
You know, if we were real Star Wars fans, we could probably read
Arabesh.
Yeah.
Maybe. But people have tried to like it doesn't.
Oh well.
It's just,
Guess we're not.
No, but he has. I believe, if I remember correctly, he had Arabesh on his helmet, and people said it was just kind of gibberish. Like it didn't mean anything yet, at least.
I would imagine they don't
It can't just
make
be,
actual, I don't know, sentences and stuff with some of those characters.
maybe, but you would think they would. I mean, if they can write "Born to Ill" and Arabesh on the side of a X-wing pilot's
that's true.
helmet, they were going to probably put something.
That's true.
Yeah. But yeah, again, of no importance, but Elo Asti is pretty funny. I really want to get his toy now just for that fact.
Hello, Asti.
So funny. Yeah, so that's pretty much all my theories as far as I'm updated. As Finn, we've got FN 2187,
Mm-hmm.
his name being Finn just because of that.
Yeah.
I like that idea. It's really cool. I like the idea that he would be trained with the lightsaber so he knows how to use it, but maybe he's not even the force sensitive one, and that's just total misdirection.
Yeah.
But I do like that it leads back to McQuarrie's original artwork of the stormtroopers knowing how to, like, having a light sword and the shields.
Yeah.
I like the idea of Kylo and Rey being brother and sister, being trained, one going bad, one staying good.
Mm-hmm.
We're slowly piecing it together in our own way, but watch it be completely different and then nothing like we've said.
Oh well.
Yeah, whatever. This is the fun part. Just that's part of Star Wars, is trying to put everything together in your own fan way. Half the fun of Star Wars is just talking about the nothingness and trying to figure out, like, what means what, and what it may not mean anything at all. Well, with George Lucas, it never meant anything because he didn't seem to care all that much.
Doesn't mean anything to us.
Yeah. Hope these new people that are directing films care more, and it's. I think it's obvious with JJ that he really cares about it.
I was telling you this the other day. Like, this is the first Star Wars movie where everyone making the movie likes Star Wars. If you think about it.
Yeah, like the directors, like.
I mean,
wanted
maybe
to
A
make
New
Star
Hope,
Wars.
you could argue. Yeah, George Lucas
He
liked
wanted to
Star
make it to
Wars
that
then.
point.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think the writers of Star Wars have liked Star Wars more than George Lucas has.
But I mean, like Star Wars as in, like, the whole universe, and grew up with Star Wars, and are fans
like they
of
have
it.
all this head canon like we do.
Yeah.
All the EU that's been thrown out, but they have all this their idea of Star Wars and what Star Wars meant to them as a child, and they're putting that into actual practice and making it Star Wars.
I think this is the first movie where we can say everyone who's touched it is a real fan.
I mean, even Han Solo, even Harrison
even
Ford.
like craft services people, and
you can just tell with those snacks.
Like carpenters.
No, like even seeing like Harrison Ford, like he seemed happy to be at Comic-Con. He never does stuff like that. Like he seemed happy to be a part of Star Wars.
I guess that kind of ruins my theory a little. Maybe he doesn't like Star Wars much.
I think he does now. I don't think he ever.
Yeah, because they probably paid him.
Well, yeah, crap.
Millions of dollars.
But like, never. He would have been at something like Comic-Con if they paid him to, but I don't think he would have. They don't have to make him smile, and he usually is. He's usually. Have you ever seen like interviews with him on talk shows and stuff?
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit about
He's
anything.
Super crabby all the time. I've even heard like on podcasts where he's just like he does not want to be there. Like that's just how he sounds.
Yeah.
Which I think part of that's his personality. I think he likes to mess with people more than anything. But
Sure.
even then, being there, like, he seemed happy to be back and a part of it and to see. I don't
It's
know,
good,
maybe.
yeah.
So yeah, and speaking of people making Star Wars today, Ryan Johnson posted the cover page of Episode 8 script.
Sweet. Is he writing the script, or is Lawrence helping? Lawrence Kasdan?
I think him and Lawrence.
Okay.
Or I know Lawrence is still involved. But he tweeted a picture of the cover of it.
Sweet.
I retweeted that from our Twitter account. So at least some form of it is written.
Yeah.
It may not, they'll probably edit some, but it was a complete, like, a stack of the script.
Just blank pages, just for the picture.
Yeah, which obviously, if they were already shooting stuff for 8, they obviously obviously had a script already, but this is like the official, like,
if they're actually shooting for 8 already, which
if that was shot for 8, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that is happening yet. Well, I don't know.
They're supposed to be starting shooting on 8, I think, soon. If they
Very
haven't
soon,
if they
yeah.
haven't already done some on it, and then
Well, it's every 2 years is they said it was going to be a new Star Wars
and
movie,
Rogue
right?
One is into production already.
Yeah.
We haven't really gotten a lot of information about Rogue One, but at the same time, it's not as, in a way, it's not as important because we know what the end game is for Rogue One. We know what happened in the history. We don't know exactly how it happened, but we know what happened, and it's not going to change. It's not going to affect too much, I don't think, of the future, because we know the mini Bothans died to get the plans. So expect mini Bothans to die in the movie.
Well, this is plans for the first Death Star, not the second.
That's right. That's when mini Bothans died.
Yeah.
To get the plans. That's right.
For the second
so no
Death Star.
Bothans, minimal Bothans will die in Rogue
I think
One.
Bothans were involved, just in general.
Minimal Bothans will die this time.
Maybe some died.
A couple.
Maybe.
Bothan died getting these plans.
We don't know the specific number, though.
But yeah, so there's been some faraway images of photos taken of props and people standing around for Rogue One, but no real information. So
Right.
But again, I don't think people are as into hunting down information for Rogue One as the new ones, because we know in the canon what the outcome is.
Yeah. I'm excited for that movie. I think
it'll be good.
A standalone Star Wars movie, it's never been done before.
Yeah, and then obviously they're gonna keep doing that too. We know they're gonna make a young Han Solo movie.
Yeah.
Which will be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the rumor roundup, if you want to go by like blog wording. But yeah, I like where the general consensus of the headcanon that we've all made up for it. I like where it's heading.
Yeah.
It seems to be getting pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now we just need that trailer. Hopefully by next time we'll actually have one, if it comes out mid-October.
Next episode? Nah, I don't think so.
Not the next 2 weeks?
We'll have another episode out before that trailer's released.
So.
I'm betting, yeah. I think they're going to wait.
You want to put money on that?
2
weeks. Think about 2
weeks.
So today is...
Yeah, I'd be willing to put...
today, 2 weeks from today, you don't think there'll be a trailer. That's past mid-October.
Yeah, I'll put money on that. I think so. I think they're going to wait until November.
Really?
I really think so.
Why?
Or at least the end of October. Just because of it doesn't... I don't think that we would be getting rumors this close to it actually...
If according to these inside rumors that it's already going around Disney, that means it just needs to get final approval.
Yeah, for studio notes. That's...
Studio notes.
I don't know.
I'd
be willing to put money on it's not going to be out before.
$5 that it's out in 2 weeks.
All right, yeah, I'll take that bet.
All right.
So next time, our next episode. We'll talk about...
We're going to have to record right before our next episode. We're going to have to record before we put out the next episode. We're going to need to record like the day before so that it's as much time as possible for the trailer to come out before that episode. We can't like record it an hour from now and be like, oh, the trailer's not out. You owe me $5.
Like, yeah.
It's not by the time the episode is recorded. It's by the time the episode comes out.
Yes.
So maybe, if we record it earlier.
Spoiler alert. Sometimes we record several of these at once.
Behind the scenes. So whatever happens, by the next time the next episode comes out, if the trailer's out.
Sure, we'll record a little stinger or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, I like that.
So Tyler, where can you find Hokey Religion, the Star Wars podcast, on the internet?
That's where, on the internet.
Yay!
No, you can email us at hockeyreligionpod@gmail.com.
We keep saying that. No one ever does that.
No one emails us.
Or like anything. Do you email podcasts? No one does that.
Hey, we have it just in case.
And just in case
you want to, if you're an official person with Disney or Lucasfilm and want to send us,
if you want to subscribe
that'd
to,
be great.
Yes, yeah, oh yeah.
You know, if you want to give us like first knowledge, it's gonna first words coming from us. That'd be great. If you want to give us the trailer and we can release that for you. That'd
be great. Hey, if you have any news, we'll talk about it if you send it to us.
Yeah, if you send us something, we'll mention
definitely mention it.
You can tweet us at Hokey_religion on Twitter, and then of course you can always find us on iTunes. Which, speaking of iTunes, if you're listening to this, we would be much appreciating if you went to iTunes and rated us, or
would be
anyone that's not
much appreciative. We would much appreciate you reviewing us.
Yes, if you're getting this from iTunes, please review and rate us. If you are using any other system other than iTunes, for
put a review
else,
up.
If it has a review system, please put one in.
It doesn't hurt us.
It doesn't have to be a good review. We'll take whatever you give us.
Well, we'd like it to be a good review.
We would love it to be a good review. Please write a good review.
Just be honest. That's all we ask.
Sure, whatever.
Just be honest.
But yeah, if you're listening to this, it would be great for us if you could review us. That helps us appear more on iTunes and show up in certain feeds, and that would be really helpful. I hate plugging ourselves, but whatever. Please, that would be very helpful.
If you're having trouble thinking of a review, I'll give you a review that you can put in iTunes or wherever right now.
Yes.
So just put this word for word, put it in there in your review, incorporate it in your review somehow. Before I listened to Hokey Religion, I was a big, stupid idiot. Now I listen to Hokey Religion, and I'm not an idiot anymore. It's probably the best thing that's ever happened to me, and that's not being hyperbolic. Period. The end.
Feel free to do that or not.
Word for word, even put the end at the end of the review,
you have to
please.
Type the end.
Yes.
All right. So this has been Hokey Religion. This is Tyler.
This is Michael.
See ya.
Hokey Religion is an ancient weapon. Hokey Religion is an ancient weapon. There's no match for a good blaster at your side.